hour in the National Football League. We're back at Cleveland Browns Stadium for the Bengals and the Browns. And this game is brought to you in Sony High Definition. They're howling for a win in the dog pound. Back with the opening kickoff here in Cleveland after this. Marvin Lewis on the Cincinnati sideline, the NFL's Coach of the Year last season. They've won their last 8 games in the AFC North. And on the other sideline, Eric Mangini's second season leading the Browns. He's been frustrated and would love to get things turned around today. Bengals won the toss. They will take the football first to begin. This is the 74th edition of the Battle of Ohio, a series that has been surprisingly close, with Cincinnati holding the edge 38-35. Right now the momentum is with the Bengals. They've won the last 3 and 9 of the last 11. Bernard Scott is back deep. Phil Dawson's kick. And we are underway. A short kick. Fielded at the 13-yard line. Scott trying to get to the outside and brought down at about the 24. Carson Palmer, the Bengals leader on offense, 2 straight wins, but Rich's numbers haven't been great.
No, they haven't, Bill, but I really think patience is the key for Carson Palmer today. He can't get caught up in all the criticism that's been directed at this offense. I think he just needs to settle down and worry less about throwing it to Chad and T.O. and more about working the progressions and finding the open receiver.
So just underway here in Cleveland, 1st and 10 from the Cincinnati 24-yard line. Offset eye to begin. Benson right side. Cedric Benson dives forward. Now to the 27-yard line. A big group up front for the Cincinnati Bengals. They've given up just 3 sacks in the first 3 games. Backs and receivers. Gresham, the rookie tight end, he's been a great addition along with Jordan Shipley out of Texas. And we're going to see plenty of number 32, Cedric Benson. 2nd and 7 for Cincinnati. High formation. Benson the deep back. They keep it on the ground again. A pickup of a couple. Browns rank in the middle of the NFL, 16th on defense. Kenyon Coleman and Rubin start up front along with Robert Smith. Cleveland has a veteran group at linebacker. Scott Fujita won a Super Bowl with the Saints earlier this year. And in the secondary, Eric Wright will try to bounce back after a tough day last Sunday against the Ravens. T.J. Ward, by the way, the rookie at safety, a big hitter. And the Browns and Rob Ryan think he has a chance to be special. 3rd and 8 for Cincinnati. Palmer from the shotgun. Slings it out. Gresham, the tight end. Great yards after the catch, and he has a first down. Abram Elam, the safety, finally brought him down. Gresham already a big weapon for Carson Palmer. He led the Bengals with 59 yards on 4 catches last week against Carolina.
A really nice play there, Bill. They bring the blitz, they bring the corner blitz, and Carson does a nice job anticipating it and getting it to his tight end, Jermaine Gresham.
They pick up 12 yards on 3rd and 8. So a fresh set of downs here for the Bengals. Short drop for Palmer. The out route, Gresham. He's popped hard, but makes the catch.
Well, there's a good look at Eric Wright. He had a difficult day last week. When I went back and studied him, his technique not good enough, but they really like this young tight end here in Cincinnati, Jermaine Gresham. He's big, he's tall, he's physical, and he's really good with the ball in his hands after the catch. You're seeing more creative ways each week. They're trying to get him the ball in space and let him go to work.
After the pickup of 5, 2nd and 5 for Cincinnati. Carson from the shotgun. Showing blitz, and here they come off the corner. Carson gets rid of it. And that is caught by Chad Ochocinco. Just across the 45-yard line, close to the 46.
Well, that's 2 of the last 3 plays now where they're bringing pressure off the top of the screen. You're going to see right here A nice job by both receivers. Now, there's a little bit of miscommunication there, but nice job recognizing the pressure and making yourself available to turn and look hot for that throw from Carson.
Six-time Pro Bowler, came in leading the Bengals with 20 catches, but no TDs through the first 3 games. 4th in the AFC. So another third down for Cincinnati, 3rd and 2. And a whistle before the snap. And the Browns take a timeout.
Timeout, Cleveland. This is their first charge.
Browns want to talk it over. 11:32 left to go in the first. Jermaine Gresham on the sideline. He got popped in the mouth by Eric Wright. 2 catches already for 17 yards, and he's not on the field for 3rd and 2 for the Bengals. Brian Leonard has checked in. And again, they're coming on the corner blitz. Palmer able to get rid of it. That's caught near midfield by Andre Caldwell.
Well, Carson Palmer is doing a really nice job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly. You've seen a number of times now in this first drive where Cleveland has brought pressure and it's not gotten home. And you think about the importance of starting games on offense better than they have the first 3 weeks of the season. I mean, they have really struggled as an offense. 20 first half possessions this season, 6 3-and-outs, and 4 that have ended with turnovers.
Crisp start for Carson Palmer, 4 of 4. 2 of those completions coming on 3rd down for conversions. Benson left side. Pick up a 4. Down to the 46-yard line, Robert Smith made the stop.
Well, Cedric Benson, there's been some frustration. He hasn't had that 100-yard game yet, but last week I thought he ran with some power. Looking to blow up that strong safety. And he has gotten the attention of this Cleveland secondary with the way he finishes runs.
1-yard touchdown run and his first career receiving touchdown. 2nd and 6 for Cincinnati, opening drive. T.O. is the motion man. They keep it on the ground. Benson looking for some running room. Down to the 42-yard line, Cedric Benson.
Well, in talking with Carson Palmer last night, the word that he used was patience. We have to have patience against this Cleveland defense. They play a lot of 2 deep coverage. They're not going to let Chad or T.O. run by him in the secondary. We're going to have to be able to run the football and move people up front. That's going to be the key. I'm going to have to check it down underneath those 2 deep safeties. Patience, very important for Carson.
Saw Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, with the signals coming in. The Bengals trying to convert another 3rd down. Coming on the blitz and batted down.
Again, a good look at that 2 deep coverage. He's going to have to work the middle of the field. And there you see Sean Rogers. He's missed all of training camp, but he makes a difference. Look at the push that they get inside. He can be a real difference maker. He can collapse the pocket.
Big Baby's been battling hip and ankle injuries. Didn't play last week against the Ravens. The fair catch is made by Josh Cribbs at the 10-yard line. 32-yard punt. Browns will have their opening possession. They'll go to work when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. And by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
After the 3rd down pass was batted down by David Bowens, Cleveland Browns take over, 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. Seneca Wallace at quarterback, short 3-step drop to the tight end Watson, who's really emerged as a weapon over the last couple of weeks, out to the 20-yard line.
Well, Seneca Wallace, very competitive, extremely athletic, but at times he has a difficult time seeing over that big offensive line in front of him. I think we'll see more movement with him getting him outside the pocket, taking advantage of his ability to make some plays with his legs.
Jake Delhomme still not ready as Wallace makes his 3rd consecutive start. Hillis is the deep back on 2nd and short. Nice little cutback move inside and a 1st down for Cleveland. Browns offensive line. Tony Passos starts today at right tackle. Joe Thomas, one of the best in the league, the Pro Bowler on that left side. Backs and receivers. Hillis exploded with a career day last week against the Ravens. Brian Robisky is down again this week. So Josh Cribbs starts, and he has been the go-to receiver for Seneca Wallace. First and 10 for Cleveland. Hillis does such a nice job, Rich, finding the hole and cutting back. Tahani Jones made the stop. Bengals defense picked up 4 turnovers last week against Carolina. They've been great in that department. Antoine Odom is back this week. Linebackers have been very productive for Marvin Lewis, Jones, Rivers, and Malaluga. And in the secondary, the 2 talented corners, Hall and Joseph, they are emerging as one of the top tandems in the league. 2nd and 5. The reverse. Cribbs. Now to the 31. Antoine Odom, good pursuit. Finally made the stop.
Well, Josh Cribbs is their most explosive player. Over 2,500 combined yards a season ago. The big challenge each week, I think, is finding creative ways in the plan to get him involved. You see the end around here. Good things happen when he gets the ball in his hands.
So 3rd and a long 2 for Cleveland. Their opening possession. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the first. Here they come on the blitz. And that was almost picked off, probably should have been, by Adam Pac-Man Jones, who had an interception a couple of weeks ago.
This is a really poor decision by Seneca Wallace. You're just going to watch his eyes. You never do this as a quarterback. Just watch. He's going to start to his right. Look, he's set there. Now he's late coming back to his left. He's out of rhythm. He throws a late ball on the boundary, and it almost gets picked off. You can't go from one side to the other on those timing routes.
So we'll see. Reggie Hodges on 4th and 2, and a whistle before the snap. False start, the preliminary signal.
False start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Jerome Boger is our referee today. Called it on Joe Hayden, rookie cornerback.
Rookies. Rookie mistakes. You know, you see a lot of them in the first month of the season. You know, Joe Hayden, how many times did he play special teams or cover a punt or kick at Florida? It doesn't really happen. These guys are learning new skills early in their professional careers.
Juan Cosby is back deep, standing at his own 35-yard line. This is a terrific punt. Cosby retreats to the 27 and driven out of bounds almost immediately. A 46-yard punt and great coverage. So Carson Palmer and company back to work when we return for the Battle of Ohio in Cleveland after this. We're back, and this weekend all NFL teams are recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. In support of this, every goalpost pad is pink. Coaches and team sideline personnel are wearing pink hats. Select players are wearing pink equipment. And game officials have pink wristbands, whistles, and pins. All in support of the American Cancer Society and breast cancer awareness. Second possession for the Bengals. Palmer will throw on 1st down. T.O. has it at the 45-yard line. Sheldon Brown, the veteran, made the stop after a pickup of 17 yards.
Well, Eric Wright had a difficult week last week against Anquan Bolden and the Baltimore Ravens. And when you went back and you studied the tape, his technique was poor. He had his eyes in the backfield. He got his hips turned a number of times. Listen, covering Anquan Bolden is no picnic, but he did not play the type of game that you'd hope for. I think if you're Carson Palmer, you have to find him early and take some shots.
From the 46-yard line of the Bengals, out route to the rookie Gresham. A nice little move, and he has been terrific, Rich, once again with yards after the catch, and he's into Cleveland territory.
And Bill, this is what they didn't have a year ago at the tight end position. A guy that they can move around, they could put out in space, and as you mentioned, he is very good after the catch. He's hard to bring down, more like a receiver once he gets the ball in his hands.
Carson Palmer said that there is no question that Jermaine Gresham can be the best tight end in the National Football League. He's special. after the pickup of 7. 2nd and 3. Ball's on the ground. Scramble for it. The Browns say they have it. And they do. Kenyon Coleman, who was a late start today with the fumble recovery.
Well, this is the 3rd time now already we've seen Cleveland bring a corner blitz to the right of this formation. And you don't know if it's a run blitz to try and stop the run, but right here, just watch Eric Wright. He's going to come right at the top of your screen. And now Cedric Benson, he's not sure whether he's going to get the ball. He's going to get blown up as he gets it. Great job there by that Cleveland defense.
So great field position for the Cleveland Browns, close to midfield. From the 48-yard line, Seneca Wallace. Out route, that's caught by Watson, the tight end. Nice pickup, and another first down.
Well, I think it's important for Cleveland to throw the ball a little bit on first down. You're going to see a lot of 8-man front to try and discourage them from running the football with Peyton Hillis. In order for this football team to get better as an offense, they have to be able to throw it on the early downs.
Watson is the former #1 pick by the Patriots back in 2004. Scored his first touchdown as a Cleveland Brown last week. Blitz, Hillis stopped in the backfield, a loss of 1. And let's take a look now at Gannon's MVPs, most valuable points.
Well, Bill, as you look at the matchup between these two teams, I think Cincinnati has a slight edge on offense and an even bigger advantage when their defense is on the field. I think the real equalizer for Cleveland is their special teams dominance. I mean, they were the best in football a year ago. Josh Cribbs, one of the best return specialists in the game. They can win this game by playing good in the kicking game.
Screen to Hillis. Came in as the Browns' leading rusher and their leading receiver with 12 catches.
Well, you're not going to see a lot of audibles from Seneca Wallace today. They're not a big audible team to begin with, but particularly not with Jake Delhomme in there. And so sometimes they get stuck in these formations or these runs and they can't get out of them like Cincinnati can with Carson Palmer at the line of scrimmage. We saw a play before. They bring the strong safety down. Peyton Hillis gets blown up in the hole. You see right here, even now, look at the extra lineman they have down around the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 8 for Cleveland. Trying to take advantage of the turnover.
They're 1 short.
Great individual effort by Chancey Stuckey to get the first down.
Right, both defenses are bringing a lot of pressure, some blitzes early. Nice job there by Seneca Wallace. He knows that Gathers is uncovered. He drifts to his left. He makes the quick throw to Stuckey in the flat, and he's able to get the first down.
Former New York Jet, his 4th year out of Clemson.
Yeah, nice job there. They have these safeties, Chris Crocker and Roy Williams. They're very physical. They're great run support players, but they struggle in coverage.
Big 3rd down conversion for the Cleveland Browns. So from the Cincinnati 31-yard line, play action. Wallace toward the sideline. Again, Stuckey with the catch. Out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Another first down for Cleveland.
Well, Seneca Wallace has great training. He spent 7 years in Seattle with Mike Holmgren. Very nice job giving Stuckey a chance on the boundary. Listen, you're going to get one-on-one matchups on the early downs against Cincinnati. They're going to try and stop the run. You have to throw it early.
And a nice drive by the Cleveland Browns. That was good for 14 yards. Offset eye. Wallace will throw, steps up. And that's caught. What a catch. No. They're saying he didn't bring it in. Ben Watson.
Brian Dable is doing an excellent job throwing the football on first down. You're just going to see the tight end. He's going to run to the corner. Nice job by Seneca Wallace, giving him a back shoulder throw. And that might have hit the ground. Really a nice job here by Ben Watson, just concentrating, making this back shoulder throw. Now watch the ball as it comes down. Oh yeah, it hits the ground. That's a good call. Really good call by the official back there. You have to maintain possession of the ball through the ground. Clearly, the ball there, the ground there helps him make that catch. You have to give these receivers a chance. So that's the matchup that you want. Your tight end on the linebacker, one-on-one in space.
Cleveland is challenging
Oh, that's not a good challenge.
of an incomplete pass.
No, they're going to lose that one.
So we have a challenge on the catch or non-catch by Watson. Back to Cleveland in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. And by OnStar. To learn more, visit OnStar.com.
Waiting for the results of the challenge, but seemed pretty clear to us. Not a catch.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is an incomplete pass. Cleveland is charged with second timeout and first replay challenge.
Keith Rivers, Rich, with some good coverage here.
Yeah, but I really like the fact that Seneca Wallace gave Ben Watson a chance. Look at the side judge, right in position there to make that call. And you can see right here, trying to bring it in, and yet right there, that ball hits the ground, and clearly he does not have possession.
So 2nd and 10 for Cleveland. They're going to the Wildcat. Cribbs, who played quarterback, of course, in college, and he's going to run with it. Big hit at the 13-yard line. Still fighting for more. Roy Williams, former Cowboy, the 5-time Pro Bowler, delivered the initial hit.
Well, both of these safeties, Roy Williams and Chris Crocker, as I mentioned, they'll show up in run support. They are very physical. But that guy right there, he's not easy to bring down. And you watch him out on the practice field, Bill, he doesn't look like a wide receiver. He's very strong and he's very physical in the open field.
3rd and 7. This drive began after a Cincinnati turnover. Wallace from the shotgun. Had time and then slinged it out of bounds over the head of Joshua Cribbs and everyone else.
Well, you watch Seneca Wallace sometimes, he's an entirely different offensive system than he was those years in Seattle. A lot of new learning for him, and you get the sense that sometimes it just doesn't make sense for him. He's just not very comfortable. He's late with his decisions. We saw that first throw of the game where he started to his right, was late coming back to his left. Again there, it looked like there was some indecision.
Phil Dawson to try a 30-yard field goal, 1 of 3 on field goal tries coming in. And this one is right down the middle. Dawson boots it through, and the Browns have points on the board. 2:28 left to go in the first. 3-0 Cleveland.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
9 plays on the drive, culminated with the 30-yard field goal. Numbers for Seneca Wallace on the drive for 638 yards. Pops the kick up, taken by one of the up men. And a pretty nice return there by Reggie Kelly. Well, the Bengals and the Browns first met 40 years ago on October 11th, 1970 in Cleveland. Paul Brown returned to Cleveland for the first time in 8 years as the Bengals coach, and the rivalry was born as the Battle of Ohio. And in the game, Royce Berry's 58-yard fumble return gave the Bengals the early lead, but the Browns were just too tough, finally beating the Bengals in a close one, 30-27.
I just love those old film clips.
First and 10 for Cincinnati. Benson out to the 34-yard line. Scott Fujita made the tackle.
When you look at this Cincinnati offense, there's been a lot of talk about what their issues are. There's something wrong with the quarterback. I really think they just need to clean up the mistakes, the penalties, the mental errors, the misassignments. The communication has to be better in order for this to be one of the best offenses in the league. I think clearly they have the personnel. They've added T.O. They got 2 young rookies I think are going to be really good players. They just need to settle down and do the little things.
2nd and 8. Palmer will throw under pressure and finally brought down. Kenyon Coleman with the sack. And let's check in now for a Week 4 NFL update and JB.
Hey, Bill and Rich, who would have thunk it that Pittsburgh would play this well offensively in Ben Roethlisberger's absence? Charlie Batch hooking up top with Antoine Randall L., a 34-yarder. Rashard Mendenhall takes it over from the 1. Last 4-0 start by Pittsburgh was back in 1979. They're up 7-0. Back to Bill and Rich.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Steelers with a chance to go to 4-0, not only without Ben Roethlisberger, but with Charlie Batch, a fourth stringer at quarterback, running the show the last 2 weeks. On third down, flag on the play. Ocho Cinco can't haul it in, incomplete. Let's check the penalty.
Well, that's going to be on Sean Rogers.
Offside, defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty, replay, third down.
And you see him line up over the center. He's always looking for an edge, trying to get a jump on the snap count. Carson Palmer, one of the better quarterbacks at changing up the snap count. And there's the frustration on Eric Mangini's face. You know, Sean Rogers has not participated, had been able to participate in training camp the last 2 seasons, didn't practice much this week. It's tough to go out there and play well when you haven't practiced.
So the Bengals will have another chance, 3rd and 5. Showing blitz, they back out. Palmer, incomplete. Tried to hit Brian Leonard.
Well, they've really struggled on third down so far this season. They're converting less than a third of their opportunities. And, you know, sometimes it's protection, sometimes it's just a bad throw. Right there, they really hurt themselves, not doing a better job on first down.
They came in converting only 16 of 50 on third down. They've been perfect, though, going for it on fourth down, 5 of 5. Here's the punt. And it takes a Cincinnati roll all the way down to the 13-yard line. Nearing the end of the first quarter, a 50-yard punt, 3-0 Cleveland. Back in Cleveland and coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 4. That's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Here it's been a defensive battle so far. 3-0 Cleveland. 49 seconds left to play in the opening period. Seneca Wallace's third start for the Browns at quarterback. Hillis ducks it back inside, and we have a flag down. Pat Sims made the tackle. Both of these teams, Rich, have had trouble with penalties through the first 3 games of the season.
Well, it's the pre-snap penalties. They kill you.
Offside, defense, lining up in the neutral
That's
zone.
ridiculous.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, there are 2 kind of penalties. They're competitive penalties where you have a PI or a holding. You know, they'll happen on occasion, and they're the ones you can live with. But it's the ones, the pre-snap penalties, like lining up in the neutral zone, that you just can't tolerate.
So 1st and 5 after the penalty. Out to the 17-yard line. Hillis upended short of the 20.
Well, it always starts with stopping the run each week as a defense, but especially versus the Browns. I mean, they're without their starting quarterback. They haven't had a lot of production from the passing game and the wide receivers, and they have a back in Peyton Hillis, who's coming off a career-high 144-yard rushing day against the Ravens. You have to be able to stop the run in this ball game.
Saw Dhani Jones, the leader of the Cincinnati defense. He was the one who made the tackle. And that is the end of the first quarter with our score: Cleveland 3, Cincinnati nothing. Back to Cleveland after these messages. An evenly played opening quarter. Turnover leading to the Browns field goal. That's the difference so far. 2nd and 3 for Cleveland. Hillis. Again, tough going inside. Ray Malaluga, the Sam linebacker, made the tackle.
I really like Peyton Hillis. I mean, he just pours it up in there. He's like a Mack truck. He's just one cut and he heads right downhill. And Bill, as I said in the open, you know, at 250 pounds, he doesn't look like a fullback. I mean, he runs like a running back. He's very quick and nimble in the hole.
Coming off a monster game last week, 144 yards, 7 receptions against a very tough Baltimore Raven defense. Hillis, pitch it back to him, keeps his feet close to the 30-yard line. Peyton Hillis.
Well, this is unusual. They're not really a perimeter running team with Peyton Hillis in there. They do a nice job tossing the ball to the edge. But watch his footwork in the hole. Does a nice job picking up his feet right here, jumping over his fullback, Lawrence Vickers. And as I said, he is a tough tackle.
Played at Arkansas, where he was overshadowed by Felix Jones and Darren McFadden, but he left the Razorbacks with over 2,600 all-purpose yards and 23 touchdowns. Caught the attention of the Broncos, who drafted him in the 7th round in 2008. Part of the Brady Quinn trade. Wallace avoids trouble, buys some time, lets it go, and that's caught. Cribbs. And that's why Seneca Wallace can be dangerous.
You're exactly right, Bill. I mean, he is a guy that does a really good job sensing pressure, stepping up in the pocket, and sliding around. He throws the ball really well on the move. He's never in one place in that pocket. I think he struggles a little bit with his height, but he's a very accurate thrower. And as I mentioned, he's got great training. He spent 7 years out there on the West Coast in Seattle learning Mike Holmgren's offense.
To the 44 after a pickup of 15. 1st and 10 for Cleveland. Hillis. Play action. Wallace. Stuckey. And the ball is on the ground. Scramble for it. Let's see who has it at the bottom of that pile. Thomas says that the Browns do. Floyd Womack, the right guard, coming all the way down the field to block, recovered the fumble.
Well, Chancey Stuckey has done a nice job today catching the football, but right here at the end, you gotta hold on to it in piles. This is a defense that's taken the ball away 8 times in the last 2 games.
16-yard gain into Cincinnati territory. They spotted at the Bengals 40-yard line. Back to the ground. Big hole left side. 1st down, Cleveland. Inside the 30-yard line, Leon Hall and Roy Williams made the stop. And again, let's check in with JB in New York for an update.
Bill and Rich, after spotting Pittsburgh a 7-0 lead, Willis McGahee on a handoff from Joe Flacco on 2nd and 7. From the 9, McGahee, 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. 8 plays, 83 yards, knots it up at 7-all. Bill and Rich.
Thanks, JB. The Ravens survived a close one last week against these Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco connected with Bolden for 3 scores. Hillis fighting for extra yardage down to the 24-yard line. Tank Johnson, who re-signed as an unrestricted free agent with Cincinnati in the offseason, made the tackle.
Well, I've been really impressed with the play of this offensive line. They did a great job last week against the Ravens. They were physical. They controlled that line of scrimmage. You know they played well when Peyton Hillis was the first Browns running back ever to go over 100 yards against that Ravens defense.
Wallace from the shotgun on 2nd and 7. Browns are threatening. To the end zone, touchdown! Evan Moore. And he beat the free safety, Chris Crocker. A 24-yard strike. And a late flag now in the end zone.
Well, this is what they want to do. Get Evan Moore matched up on the safety, Chris Crocker. Great throw and catch here. He puts it right between the 2 safeties, Roy Williams and Chris Crocker. Evan Moore does not run routes like a tight end.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 82. 2 players jumping into the stand. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
That's unfortunate. I don't know that was the intention. I think it was more of a situation where Ben Watson's trying to go over there and congratulate his teammate. Great throw here by Seneca Wallace. As I mentioned, Evan Moore runs routes like a receiver. He was a receiver in college out at Stanford.
Dawson on to try the extra point. And he gives the Cleveland Browns a 10-0 lead. Just over 11 minutes left to play in the half. 24-yard touchdown pass. An efficient 87-yard drive for the touchdown. There's Evan Moore in his second year out of Stanford. Had 87 yards on 3 catches in the opener. And that 24-yard touchdown reception gives Cleveland a 10-0 lead.
They're going to get some great field position here because of the penalty.
Adam Pac-Man Jones is the deep man, and he fields it at the 24-yard line. Trying to get it to the outside, reverses his field, and is brought down at the 34. Nick Sorensen made the stop. Well, these two teams forever linked, not only by their shared location in the state of Ohio, but by the legendary Paul Brown. Bengals, of course, play in Paul Brown Stadium, named for the founder of the franchise, who's also in the Ring of Honor here in Cleveland. It's the head coach who led the Browns to 10 straight NFL championship games from 1946 to 1955.
A lot of history of both these franchises.
Bernard Scott has checked in the backfield for Cincinnati from the 33-yard line. Palmer. Ochocinco with a step, and he has it. Chad Ochocinco had beaten Eric Wright on the play.
Well, that's what we were talking about in the first quarter. You have to take some shots when you get these one-on-one matchups with Eric Wright. And that's the guy you want to go at. Chad Ochocinco, still a very good route runner. He has that speed to really separate, and a perfect throw there by Carson Palmer gets it done.
42 yards on the play, down to the 25-yard line of the Cleveland Browns.
And that's what's been missing from this offense, the explosive plays, the plays of 20 yards or more, third fewest in the NFL.
Scott stays in the game, showing corner blitz, and here they come. Palmer to T.O.
That's a penalty.
Fighting all the way up the sideline.
Boy, they got a break there. Sheldon Brown.
No flag.
Well, Sheldon Brown, I think, was fortunate. Going to watch T.O. They're going to run a go route. Sheldon's in good position, but watch here at the end. He tries to cut him off and change lanes. Now he's got that arm. He's at that bar. He's kind of dragging T.O., and T.O.'s begging for the penalty. Savvy veteran player, Sheldon Brown.
Both of them. 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. Palmer will throw again.
Oh, I really like this.
Screen over to Gresham. They've used that a lot. Falls forward to the 21-yard line. Fujita, the outside linebacker, the former Saint, made the tackle.
Well, this Browns defense, I think it's already better than a year ago. I mean, they're better at each level. I think they have more talent and depth, something that was a real problem for them in 2009. And that guy right there, Rob Ryan, he does an excellent job each week game planning. He will come after you.
They have improved from a year ago when they ranked 31st in the league. Came in ranked 16th overall defensively. So a big third down here as the Bengals try to answer the touchdown. 3rd and 6. Palmer. Caught T.O. And Terrell Owens with a first down. T.J. Ward, the rookie out of Oregon, made the tackle.
Well, he becomes like a tight end once he gets the ball in his hands. He's big and he's physical. Sheldon Brown right in position, but a perfect throw here by Carson gets it done, and a real nice tackle by T.J. Ward. Look at Carson. He still does a nice job moving to his right, but look how big this guy is. He is not easy to bring down in the open field.
Palmer 9 of 12 for 102 yards, and the Bengals are threatening. 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Scott inside the 10. Down close to the 7-yard line, Joe Hayden, the nickelback, rookie out of Florida, the first-round draft pick, made the stop. Eight and a half minutes remaining in the opening half. 10-0 Cleveland.
I'm seeing real progress out of Joe Hayden. He's getting better each week. Look at these two guys kissing. See Schaefer in there and Bobby Williams. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
2nd and 5. T.O. is the motion man. Offset eye. Scott the deep back.
Carson here, he's going to change the play.
Scott. You don't often see him taking it inside. Fujita made the tackle.
Well, I think picking up Scott Fujita was a great addition for the Browns. This is everything that Eric Mangini's looking for when he talks about the characteristics that he wants with his players. Scott Fujita is tough, he's smart, he's disciplined, and he's committed to the plan. And that's what Eric Mangini wants from all 53 of the players on his roster.
Jordan Shipley, the rookie out of Texas, and Brian Leonard have checked in. Three receivers down to the right. Palmer. Flush from the pocket. That was almost picked off, intended for Terrell Owens, and that time Eric Wright got a jump on it.
Well, Bill, we saw a couple of these throws out of Carson Palmer last week, and I'd say they're scary throws. Really nice job here with the coverage on T.O. Boy, this one, that's not a good decision by Carson Palmer. If Eric Wright is able to get two hands on this, he could have picked that one off on the sidelines.
So that'll bring out the field goal unit. Mike Nugent has been perfect, 8 of 8 since joining the Bengals. Played at Ohio State, left with 22 kicking records, and he's still perfect, 9 of 9. And the Cincinnati Bengals are on the board with 7:16 remaining in the half. 10-3 Cleveland.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Prudential, the rock you can rely on to meet today's financial challenges. Corona, who invites you to find your beach. And by AT&T, rethink possible.
Go to NFL.com's Game Center for all the latest Week 4 live game stats, fan discussions, in-game video highlights, and more. Only at NFL.com. Back at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Nugent after his 24-yard field goal. He's just been outstanding for the Cincinnati Bengals, the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month for September. Had a long of 54 yards in the opener against New England. 5 field goals to beat the Baltimore Ravens in Week 2, 15-10.
His kickoffs have been deep, which has really helped. Well, not here.
Cribbs will get a chance from the 7-yard line. Dangerous, but good coverage by the Bengals. Brought down at the 22-yard line. 7:10 left to go in the half. 10-3 Browns. Eric Mangini, as we're back, and his Browns are out to a 7-point lead midway through the second quarter. Hillis getting behind that left side and out across the 25, close to the 26-yard line. Keith Rivers made the tackle.
Well, that number 40 looks very familiar to me. He reminds me of the former Tampa Bay running back Mike Allstott, but I think he's a better athlete. Clearly, he catches the ball well, and I think the other thing, he doesn't shy away from contact. He was a tight end, a fullback, a running back, a wide receiver, return punts and kicks at Arkansas. He did it all. He's a tremendous athlete.
Wallace out into the flat to Cribbs, trying to get him in space, and that's why. Nice play by Josh Cribbs out to the 34-yard line. Dhani Jones finally made the stop.
Well, they're doing a much better job of getting the ball into the hands of the receivers here in this first half. They're one of the teams in the league that has not done a very good job of that the first 3 weeks. And you can't get Josh Cribbs enough touches, because every time he has the ability to score from anywhere on the field, it's important to get him involved early.
So a shot at Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator. Wallace under pressure, and he's sacked. Keith Rivers was in quickly, and that is only the 3rd sack of the season for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, this is not very good. I mean, they don't even block Keith Rivers. You're going to see him on the end. He's the end man on the line of scrimmage right here, and they don't even block him. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know if they just blow the protection. The fullback is not paying attention, but Seneca Wallace has no chance when you turn the outside linebacker loose.
Loss of 5 on the play, 2nd and 15. Back to the 28-yard line of the Browns. Wallace has time, gets rid of it, and that is caught out across the 35-yard line to the 36 by Sam Aiken. Well, check out the new CBSSports.com shop for officially licensed NFL gear and get 3-day shipping on every order. Go to shop.cbssports.com.
It's like the kind of helmet you used to wear as a kid, Bill.
Of course, you got to get one of those if you're going to be a fan of the Cleveland Browns. So 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 for Cleveland from the 35-yard line. Wallace had to get rid of it in a hurry, and fortunately he threw it low because Jonathan Joseph had a bead on it.
Well, we're having some protection issues already with the Cleveland Browns. Again, they don't pick up the blitz off the edge, and Seneca Wallace is forced to throw it late to the flat.
So the punting unit will come out. Cosby is the deep man for Cincinnati, standing back at his own 18-yard line. Hodges. Will be a return from the 20. Out close to the 25-yard line. A 44-yard punt, 4:29 left to go in the half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. Watch your favorite team wherever you live, only on DirecTV. Call to switch today. And by E-Trade.
Support the NFL's A Crucial Catch breast cancer awareness campaign by bidding on authentic game day NFL pink products and experiences at NFL.com/auction. Proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society. 4.5 minutes left in the opening half. Benson alone in the backfield. 1st and 10 for the Bengals from their own 24. Again, Gresham out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Ataba Rubin made the stop.
Ataba Rubin has done a really nice job inside there, Bill. Took over for Sean Rogers the first couple weeks, and talking with Eric Mangini, he said he's been outstanding, not only in his run defense, but his ability to collapse that pocket in the passing game.
In his 3rd year out of Iowa State, former 6th-round draft pick, had his first career interception against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. So 2nd and 3 for the Bengals. Palmer, pump fake, plenty of time, finally gets rid of it, and incomplete. He was trying to hit Cedric Benson, who fell down, and we've got a flag on the play, and the preliminary signal, it's against Cincinnati.
Well, there's a reason why Carson had so much time in the pocket. An offensive holding.
Holding. Offense. Number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
Andrew Whitworth.
Had a chance to visit with him last night.
He's a good man.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
He was curious to get his take on what was going on with the offense. And he felt like they had a little bit of an identity crisis. And they've added all these different playmakers. And, of course, as an offensive lineman, you want nothing more than to run the football downhill with some power with Cedric Benson. And so if Andrew Whitworth was calling plays, believe me, they'd run into every play.
8th penalty by the offensive line. That's tied for the 4th most in the NFL. So they move him back, and it's 2nd and 13. Here they come on the blitz. Palmer gets rid of it up the sideline. T.O. And he's going to score. Terrell Owens all alone to the end zone. Sheldon Brown fell down. And Owens has the touchdown. 78 yards from Carson Palmer.
Well, they brought the blitz, and that leaves the corners one-on-one. And this is a great throw here by Carson Palmer. You see Sheldon Brown. Look how far off he's playing. He's got pretty good position, but a perfect throw, and he just stumbles right there at the end. You're not going to catch that guy once he catches it. I don't really like this at the end. I don't like that.
Second touchdown of the year for Terrell Owens. Nugent evens it up. 3:30 left to go in the opening half. And the Cincinnati Bengals have come right back.
Well, they're going to bring all this pressure, and when you bring pressure, you put these guys locked up in one-on-one situations on the outside, and that's just what happens here. Look at that. No one in the middle of the field to help those corners, and as I said, a perfect throw there by Carson Palmer. Sheldon Brown has been matched up a little bit with T.O. today, and he is having a difficult time hanging with him on the boundary.
Well, the Bengals have won 2 straight coming in this week, but they did it by driving down the field. They came in today, Rich, with only 7 plays of 20 yards or more through the first 3 games of the season. They were looking for a big play.
Yeah, and what did Carson say to us last night is that we'd have to be patient because they don't give you a lot of chances. But we've already seen today where the Browns have brought pressure and have put those corners on an island. And that was the problem last week when you looked at Eric Wright. He got matched up with Anquan Bolden in Baltimore a number of times where they were bringing pressure and there was no help with one of those safeties in the middle of the field.
You saw Sheldon Brown, his reaction. He stumbled. That doesn't happen very often. He came over from Philadelphia where he spent his first 8 years in the league. 9th year out of South Carolina, came in here, brought a veteran and leadership presence to the Cleveland secondary. They count on him to make plays. But it was Terrell Owens with the long touchdown reception, 78 yards. Gribbs from the 12. Brought down close to the 33-yard line. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on a busy week 4 around the National Football League on the Sprint Halftime Report.
You can see Sheldon Brown looking at the pictures. There's really nothing to it. I mean, he knows he doesn't have any help with the safety. He's matched up one-on-one. He just can't fall down top of the route.
See how aggressive the Browns are here with 3.5 minutes remaining in the opening half. Hillis, the deep back eye formation, lined up behind Lawrence Vickers, the tough fullback for the Browns. He follows Vickers in. A great penetration that time by the Bengals.
Now, both of these corners, you see Jonathan Joseph right there and Leon Hall, they're very physical and they show up in run support. You're going to see how quickly Jonathan Joseph gets into the backfield. Let's see right there. He looks like he hurt that right shoulder a little bit. Maybe his forearm.
The Browns have moved the ball well. 10 first downs, 27 offensive plays. They're tied at 10 here late in the first half. Wallace had to get rid of it. Threw it at the feet of Hillis because he was surrounded by Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, you look at the smallest quarterbacks in the NFL. There's Seneca Wallace. There's some other good ones there, Drew Brees and Michael Vick. And when you think about Seneca Wallace, he's got to find a lot of different throwing angles and lanes because of his height at 5'11". You're constantly throwing from different set points so that you can find some throwing lanes. And we talked with him about that on Friday. He said, this group I have in front of me is even bigger than the group I had in Seattle, so it's difficult for a guy who's just 5'11".
So 3rd and 10 for Cleveland. Wallace. Intercepted. Leon Hall. And that is 3 consecutive games with an interception by Leon Hall. And we have a flag down on the play. And let's check the penalty.
After the interception, personal foul, low block, defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Cincinnati keeps the ball. First down.
They call it on Morgan Trent. Those defensive guys aren't always used to blocking.
It just seems like Leon Hall has always been around the ball. And right here, just good alert play. The ball's tipped, deflected off of Stuckey. And he just tries to get up and make a play. But he is an outstanding corner for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Jonathan Joseph, the other corner, going to the locker room a little early. Leon Hall in his 4th year out of Michigan. Both he and Joseph first-round draft picks by the Bengals. Hall was the #1 pick in 2007.
It's tough to be a great defense unless you have 2 great corners, and Cincinnati has them in Leon Hall and Jonathan Joseph.
Palmer with 2.5 minutes to work with. Benson, little stutter step, gets it close to midfield, the 49-yard line. Carson Palmer coming off the longest completion of his career on the 78-yard touchdown pass to Terrell Owens.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a play like that to kind of get you going. And you just get the sense when we visited with Carson last night, he was frustrated with where they were offensively, but he felt like they were close. And clearly, when you look at the way they played so far in the first half, it looks like they've begun to settle down deep down on offense.
So we've reached the 2-minute warning. We're tied at 10 here in Cleveland. Carson Palmer with 2 minutes and all 3 timeouts remaining. Good field position from near midfield. 2nd and 6. Palmer, they come on the blitz, delayed blitz. T.O. What a catch. And great, once again, yards after the catch for Terrell Owens. Down to the 26-yard line and out of bounds. Joe Hayden, the rookie, finally made the stop.
Well, whereas a week ago they were missing these throws, now they're starting to hook up T.O. and Carson. Look at the ball comes out well before T.O. is out of the break. Pretty good coverage there by Joe Hayden, but boy, they're just really clicking on the outside lanes.
Good veteran adjustment just to make the catch by T.O. One of 3 players to go over 15,000 yards receiving in a career. So 1st and 10. Clock running. Incomplete. He was trying to hit the rookie Jermaine Gresham.
You know, it's unusual for a team to bring so many corner blitzes, but particularly to the quarterback's right side. You're going to see right here, Joe Hayden. Carson sees it late. They make the adjustment. The tight end looks out, but Joe Hayden makes the play on the ball. That's about 4 or 5 times now that Rob Ryan has brought that pressure to Carson Palmer's front side.
Hayden, the 7th overall pick in this year's draft. The Browns like how he's progressed. They say he's getting better every week. 2nd and 10, 150 left in the half. They come again on the blitz. Palmer hit after he let it go and over the head of Ocho Cinco.
Well, it's very hard to throw an out-breaking route when you have 2 deep man coverage. Joe Hayden knows that he's got help over the top from Mike Adams, so he's going to undercut this route. See how he's right in front of Chad? That is a hard and difficult throw to make when it's 2 deep man coverage.
So 3rd and 10. Browns defense trying to stiffen. Cincinnati threatening, looking for more points before halftime. Palmer finally had to throw it away.
I tell you, one guy that's jumping out at me that I think is really going to help Cleveland is Shaun Rogers. He's made a number of plays up inside, not only in the running game, but in the passing game. He's not going to play the entire game. They're going to spell him. But boy, it's great just to have him back out on the field.
Going to see Mike Nugent, who already has a 54-yarder this year. That came in week 1 in the loss to New England, on to try a kick of 44 yards. And it's blocked. Scott Fujita got a hand on it.
Well, special teams have been a strength of this team for a number of years. You're going to see the push up the middle. They're worried about Shaun Rogers. Scott Fujita, he just sneaks right between the guard and the tackle and gets a hand on this one. This one's got no chance. He gets so concerned about blocking Shaun Rogers up inside. He's got 13 blocked field goals in his career that you turn loose a guy like Scott Fujita off the edge.
So the Bengals are denied. Browns with only one timeout remaining. 1:31 left before halftime. Wallace checks it down. Stuckey back in the game and out of bounds. It's going to be a yard short of a first down.
Well, they have not gotten the ball to Mohamed Massaquoi, but they've done a nice job getting Stuckey involved, the third receiver who's working in the slot. They told us they're going to try and move Massaquoi around a little bit, Bill, to get him open. Play the X, play the Z, put him in the slot. Just 3 catches coming into today's game.
He had a 41-yard touchdown catch in the opener against Tampa Bay, but only 1 reception in the last 2 weeks. Hillis.
This is unfortunate. You know, you hate to put these type of plays on film. I don't want to be critical of Seneca Wallace, but when you see these safeties and these linebackers blitz up inside, you've got to do something. You have no one to block the safety in the hole. Seneca Wallace here, he's got to get out of this play. Peyton Hillis has no chance when you turn the safety loose in the hole. There's got to be something in his toolbox to be able to get out of that play, out of a bad play and into a better one based on that front end look.
Measuring for the first down, and it's going to be just short. 3 or 4 inches.
Well, they got a guy in the backfield that could take care of this. Number 40, can't they? You know, there's 2 things you can do here. You can hand the ball to Peyton Hillis and pick up the first down, or you can fake the ball to Peyton Hillis and take a shot down the field to Josh Cribbs, something that they did against Kansas City in a very similar situation on 3rd and 1. Let's take a look at it. Let's watch this safety.
Browns with 1 timeout remaining. Quarterback sneak. And that will be good enough for the first down. Seneca Wallace.
We went with the safe call, the conservative call for Brian Dable. That's why he's calling plays and I'm sitting up here in the booth.
Up quickly to snap it. 45 seconds left in the half. Out route to Watson, but he's brought down immediately. Clock continuing to run. 30 seconds left now. Taking a lot of time here. Wallace, middle of the field. Watson with a great grab and a flag. They may go helmet to helmet. And that will stop the clock with 14 seconds left in the half.
Boy, I've really been impressed with some of the throws that Seneca Wallace has made today. He's given these receivers and tight ends a chance to make plays down the field.
After the catch, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 41, hit to a defensive receiver, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Chinadum and Dukwe.
Well, you're going to see in Dukwe, first of all, great throw here by Seneca Wallace. But you see right there, it's not even leading with the helmet anymore. It could be the shoulder or the forearm to a defenseless receiver. Really doing a good job trying to protect the players.
Play was good for 21 yards, and then you tack on 15 more. 13 seconds. The clock is running. On the 17-yard line. Wallace.
Well, you can't take a sack.
And that's going to be caught by Hillis.
Well, you call a timeout here.
They call one with 6 seconds left, the final timeout for the Browns.
Well, really nice job by Seneca Wallace in this offense, orchestrating a 2-minute drive. When you think about the sequence of events here right at the end of the first half, Bill, they block. Scott Fujita goes out there and blocks a field goal. The offense goes back on the field and drives the length of the field. And now you put your kicker in a position to go up by 3.
Boston comes out. He already has a 30-yard field goal. The scoring started for the Browns. Came in 4 shy of Lou Groza's, the great Lou Groza, his all-time Browns field goal record.
You see the shot. Here's why kickers are different. You just see it's tucked in. You see he's got his wedding band on. That make his wife happy. I was never able to wear my wedding band as a quarterback. Well, now they're making a substitution here.
And the Bengals take a timeout.
And you see the special teams coach there, Darren Simmons, right next to Marvin Lewis, complaining that they can't make that substitution so late. I don't know what the conversation is here. Maybe they're going to take one shot with 6 seconds left into the end zone and then kick the field goal. But Bill, this is really close. If you're Seneca Wallace, you have no time to take that extra hit to slide to your right or left. That ball has to come out. This is a kind of an iffy decision here by Eric Mangini and the Browns. I think I would kick it in this situation. Too many bad things can happen. Maybe just throw up a fade route to Josh Cribbs, give him a chance for a jump ball. But these safeties are going to play wide. They're going to help the corners over the top.
Spotted just inside the 14-yard line. 8 seconds left to go in the half. Wallace has to get rid of it in a hurry. Incomplete. He's trying to hit Josh Cribbs in the corner. 4 seconds left, and now the field goal unit will come out.
Yeah, and look at Pac-Man, Adam Jones. He's got help over the top there in Ndukwe. He is not going to let Josh Cribbs catch the ball in the back of the end zone.
So Phil Dawson is out. We'll try a 31-yard field goal. Trying to give the Browns the lead just before halftime. He's up and good. Dawson boots it through, and the Browns have regained the lead as we have reached halftime. And we'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local CBS station. Halftime in Cleveland, the Battle of Ohio. The Browns lead the Bengals. Back with the second half kickoff after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Jim Belushi, Jerry O'Connell, The Defenders, Wednesday, only CBS.
haircut. What is it? Who gave him tomorrow's news cycle?
I just thought I was done visiting men in prison.
Duh. I just got your email. I'm out for the season?
Don't worry about that. I switched to Sprint's $69.99 plan, so I get unlimited emails.
What does that mean?
It means I'm dropping you for my fantasy team, that's for sure.
What does that mean about my knee?
Oh, your knee's totally shattered. Did you see how hard that guy hit you?
I don't want to see...
Hey, relax. Not costing me any extra.
Only Sprint gives you unlimited text, web, and calling to any mobile for just $69.99. Sprint, the Now Network.
Halftime here in Cleveland, 13-10 Browns. Bill McAtee back with Rich Gannon, and we've come to expect this, a very competitive game. And both these offenses, despite not a lot of points, look pretty good.
Yeah, I think they really are doing a nice job. I think both quarterbacks are playing well, Bill, in the first. I think Carson Palmer made some great throws to T.O. and to Chad. And, of course, I think Seneca Wallace is moving around and creating some plays as well. And I'm a little surprised at the approach from Cleveland offensively. They've had 36 offensive plays in the first half. They've thrown it 22 times and run it 14. So I think they're keeping that Cincinnati defense off balance.
All right, let's take a look now at our All-State points of protection for this one.
Well, as we talked about, Carson Palmer, the protection's been very good. Just the one sack. He's thrown for 212 yards in the first half. And their defense, I think, has been excellent at stopping the run. And again, they come up with that big turnover. And I think Seneca Wallace, the Browns have to continue to put the ball in his hands, let him make some plays. And, of course, don't forget about old number 40, Peyton Hillis. He needs to get some touches here in the second half as well.
Both offenses moving the football. Cincinnati, 233 yards in the first half. Cleveland, just under 200, 194. T.O. had a big play. Touchdown catch from Carson Palmer, 78 yards. A little bit of everything so far in this game, and the Browns will have it to start the second half. Josh Cribbs.
Well, you take a deep breath every time you see a guy like Josh Cribbs back.
8 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. This is a short kick fielded at the 16-yard line. Cribbs out across the 35, close to the 36-yard line. Let's take a look at the numbers from the first half.
Well, both offenses, I thought, did a nice job. You look at the time of possession, fairly even in the first half. Browns got a couple more possessions. But I thought we'd see more out of both teams rushing the football. Just 23 from Cincinnati and 45 from Cleveland.
Bengals coming off a 20-7 win over Carolina last week, snapping a 5-game road losing streak. It's always different, though, when they come here. Hillis upended in his own backfield, a loss of 1. Again, good penetration by Chris Crocker, who started his NFL career here in Cleveland. Was the Browns' 3rd-round pick back in 2003. Played here in 2005.
And Chris Crocker has spent a lot of his time today up around the line of scrimmage, and they have that luxury because they have 2 very good corners on the outside that they feel can hold up in one-on-one coverage.
Tight formation. Wallace back in the shotgun, showing blitz. Back out of it. And that was almost picked off. And a catch. Leon Hall looked like he had a chance for the interception, but Massaquoi was able to haul it in for his first catch of the day.
A perfect throw gets it done here. It almost looks like Leon Hall is just baiting the quarterback. He tries to jump this route, but oh, that does hit the ground. The ball hit the ground, didn't it?
Well, Hall agrees with you. No challenge. So 3rd and 6. Wallace from the shotgun. Corner blitz, incomplete. Evan Moore and pass interference.
Well, when they play that 2-deep coverage, Dhani Jones is responsible for the tight end or that second receiver in the slot working down the middle of the field.
Pass interference. Defense, number 57. Spot the foul. Automatic. First down.
They call it on Dhani Jones.
You're going to see Evan Moore. He's just working down the middle of the field. I don't know about that. Jeez. Guys can't even touch each other now.
And they go with the Wildcat. And we have a whistle. Bengals are going to take a timeout.
Cincinnati.
Browns on the move, opening possession of the second half, 13-10, Cleveland.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Bengals took a timeout after Cleveland came out of the Wildcat. Now they're back in the normal formation. Shotgun at 1st and 10. Cleveland into Cincinnati territory. Seneca Wallace. Out to Ben Watson. Tahani Jones finally brought him down, but another first down.
They've done a nice job working that tight end across the formation. You see the Browns' first half possessions there, and they put some good drives together. You said that one turnover, that 3-and-out interception there. They had the ball in their own 32. Other than that, a pretty solid first half for the Browns.
Browns came in today, Rich, ranked 19th in the NFL on offense, 11th in rushing. 1st and 10 from the Cincinnati 35-yard line. Hillis has not had a lot of running room today. 3rd year out of Arkansas, and it's a real tribute to the kind of athlete that Peyton Hillis is, that with Darren McFadden and Felix Jones on the team, it was Hillis who was returning punts and kicks.
Well, he said he went to the coaches and said, I just want to play. Just find a way to get me on the field. And he mentioned to us in that production meeting the other day that he played a little tight end, he played wide receiver, he lined up in the slot. He did whatever he could to help that football team win.
He was a 3rd-round draft pick in baseball, but he said football was his first love. Wallace gets it out quickly. That's caught by Watson, who's been a frequent target today. Former #1 pick by the Patriots. Chinedu Ndukwe made the tackle.
Well, they're doing a nice job getting the ball to Ben Watson. It's these little stick routes and these crossing routes in between those linebackers and the safeties. And, of course, Ben Watson is a big target for Seneca Wallace.
6 catches for 60 yards for Watson. So 3rd and 3.
They give you a lot of different looks, a lot of defenders moving around up in here around the line of scrimmage. Makes it very confusing for a quarterback.
It's so confusing that he takes a timeout. So the Bengals burn an early timeout, and now the Cleveland Browns do as well.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. FedEx, we understand. You need a winning game plan. FedEx. And by the new Silver Bullet aluminum pint from Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Tomorrow on CBS, see why critics are calling the new hit drama Hawaii Five-0 your next TV obsession. New episode tomorrow only on CBS, America's #1 network. A few Whitecaps out of the year, you can do some surfing out there.
Does not look good. Not a good day for sailing.
There was rain in the forecast, although it sprinkled just a little bit before game time, and it's been dry since. 3rd and 3 for the Cleveland Browns from the Cincinnati 29-yard line. Wallace alone in the backfield. Under pressure. Scrambling, gets rid of it, and that's caught. Again, it's Chancey Stuckey.
And this is really frustrating for a defense when you feel like you have the quarterback contained. He gets outside the pocket, and he finds a way to make a completion to Stuckey on the boundary. Seneca Wallace has been outstanding. When the protection has broke down, he's done a nice job getting out on the perimeter and finding the open receiver.
Seneca Wallace came in from Seattle, where they ran the West Coast offense, but he has been efficient here in Cleveland. Jake Delhomme still out. Wallace making his 3rd consecutive start from the 20. Hillis left side. Nice pickup. Oh, some tough running. Peyton Hillis banging for extra yards. And that was a collision with Roy Williams, who's slow and woozy getting up.
Well, you'll feel it the next day after you play against Peyton Hillis. I mean, Roy Williams is one of the more physical safeties in the game, and he got the worst of that one. You can't be a good running football team without a great fullback. Just listen to this hit. I really like Lawrence Vickers. You just watch him up front there.
Wow. Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. Browns looking for points. Hillis again. Legs continuing to churn. Kind of running back, they tell us, who looks for contact.
You know, this is not an easy defense to run against either. I mean, they get so much movement out of their front four. They slant, they penetrate those gaps, and they make it difficult to run against. In fact, they have a lot of negative runs coming into this game. You see Mike Zimmer there, the defensive coordinator. Browns offensive line doing some good jobs opening up some holes in the running game.
Willis, the first Cleveland Brown to ever rush for 100 yards against the Baltimore Ravens. 144 last week. Up the middle. Oh. Nice hole. Banging inside the 5 down to the 4. Keith Rivers finally made the stop.
Well, Keith Rivers is a physical linebacker, and Peyton Hillis makes Keith Rivers look like a small corner in the hole. He just runs him over. He's always finishing runs and falling forward.
So 1st and goal from inside the 5. Browns already lead it 13-10. Cribbs. They go from the Wildcat. Up the middle. Down close to the 1.
Well, they love this little inside counter play. You're going to see Eric Steinbach kick out, and the fullback, who's actually Peyton Hillis at the time, he goes up in there and gets a kick out, and of course Josh Cribbs can pour it up in there with some power.
2nd and goal, right from the 1. Offset eye. Hillis, touchdown. Four consecutive games with a touchdown run for Peyton Hillis.
Well, they load up that right side of that offensive line, and they want to run the ball behind the fullback, Lawrence Vickers there. And of course, Peyton Hillis, well, he is running very hard right now, and he's running with a lot of confidence.
17 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown for number 40, Peyton Hillis. Dawson extends the Cleveland lead. 8:54 left to go in the 3rd. It's now 20-10. Browns looking for their first win. Peyton Hillis, after his 1-yard touchdown run, an 11-play drive, aided by a pass interference call on 3rd and 6. Roy Williams leaving the field after the collision with Hillis. High kickoff, short. Scott fields it at the 10. Brought down at the 27-yard line, and let's see if the ball had been blown dead. He was down. So the Cincinnati Bengals will try to answer. 8:49 left in the 3rd. They're down by 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new CRZ Sport Hybrid, only from Honda. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
We're back, and the dogs are barking here in Cleveland. 20-10 Browns. Bengals take over. They're on 26-yard line. Palmer changing the play. Benson. He's been quiet today.
Browns are doing a really good job on the early downs, bringing these corner pressures. Guys like Eric Wright, not so much to disrupt the pass, but to stop the run. They've had a number of them today from Rob Ryan. Eric Wright's been a big part of it. Done a nice job in run support.
So 2nd and 10 for Cincinnati. Go with the I formation. It's Brian Leonard in motion. Palmer loses the football. Tried to pull it down, and the Browns have it. And guess who? Kenyon Coleman, who almost didn't play today.
They didn't practice most of the week. He's made a number of big plays today, and you see Carson, he's going to get fooled right here. He starts his arm down, and right at the last second, he tries to pull it in. Well, by the time he does that, Scott Fujita's there to knock it out, and Kenyon Coleman is alert enough to scoop it up. I don't know what got Carson off this ball, but this ball's got to come out. You see the stunt back up inside by Fujita. The Bengals don't pick it up. Oh, they couldn't afford a turnover there to start the second half.
And right back go the Browns on offense. From the Cincinnati 13-yard line. Hillis. Tough running down close to the 10. Sinaduman Dukwe, who is in at strong safety for Roy Williams, made the tackle.
And the more you watch Peyton Hillis, you realize that you're not going to be able to arm tackle him. The best thing you can do is get hats to the ball. Gain tackle really important because he can just step right through those arm tackles.
Second and 7. Seneca Wallace to the end zone, incomplete. Tried to hit Watson.
Well, that's one he'd like to have back. He had him open. He threw that one on the back shoulder. A better throw there. You have a touchdown to Ben Watson. Good protection. Look where this ball hits Watson. In fact, Ndukwe's lucky, fortunate they didn't get an interception there. But if he puts this one, if he uses the sideline and puts it out in front of Ben Watson, he's got a touchdown. You can't throw this behind your tight end.
So 3rd and 7. Bengals trying to make a defensive stand here. Wallace still on his feet. Short of the first down, but what a great individual effort from Seneca Wallace.
Well, we talked about his feet can get him out of trouble. See, pretty good protection, but he's never sitting in one place in the pocket. It makes it very difficult for that defensive lineman to get a sack. He is a great athlete, not big at 5'11", very difficult to see over that offensive line, but he's always moving around to find those open lanes.
So the Browns are going to have to settle for a field goal, and given where they took over, that was the best that Cincinnati could have hoped for. Third field goal of the day for Phil Dawson. Cleveland extends its lead, 23-10. Carson Palmer and the offense down by 13, 6:32 left to go in the third. Getting ready to come back out. Mark Scott is back deep. He has become one of the top return men in the league since the start of last season. Leads the NFL. He's coming in with a 31.3-yard average. Bobbles that at the 15. And brought down at the 17. Mike Adams was down the field in a hurry. Well, Wednesday on Survivor, Coach Jimmy Johnson used to rule the older tribe. Now it's a cutthroat struggle for leadership. And one fiery villain declares war. New Survivor Wednesday only on CBS, America's #1 network.
Well, it's important for Carson Palmer and this offense to get something going. They're down by 13. Had a turnover last possession. A lot of questions and, frankly, criticism directed towards Carson Palmer in this offense this week.
They spotted at the 17 from the shotgun. Again, they come in the corner blitz. Palmer to T.O. Terrell Owens. And out to the 35-yard line, Abram Elam made the stop. And once again, let's check in with JB in New York for an NFL update.
Not much criticism of Green Bay, Bill and Rich. Take a look at Detroit's Sean Hill, picked off. And we will come back to you. You guys are back at the action. We'll get it to you in a second. Back to Bill.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Cincinnati up in a hurry. 1st and 10. Benson, who's been very quiet today, picks up 3.
I mentioned there's a lot of criticism directed towards Carson Palmer in this offense. I had 3 Cincinnati reporters call me this week and ask me what's wrong with Carson. And, does he have to play better? Absolutely. But I also think that the other 10 players around him need to play better as well. And they've just been out of sync for whatever reason those first 3 weeks.
Bengals increasing the tempo at the offsides.
That might be on Carson. We saw this last week where they forgot the snap count.
Gresham was clapping, so must have heard something he liked.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Call it on Big Baby, who's listed 6'4", 350.
That's 2 on him today.
3-time Pro Bowl selection in his 10th year out of Texas. Didn't play last week against the Ravens.
He is a handful for any center inside.
So 2nd and 1 for Cincinnati.
Want to bring those corners, stop the run.
Palmer. Shipley with his first catch of the day, and he's into Cleveland territory. Eric Wright made the tackle. Jordan Shipley, the 3rd-round draft pick out of the University of Texas, 84th selection overall. Came in tied for the lead among rookie receivers in the NFL, 13 catches coming into week 4.
Well, this no huddle has been a great changeup over the years for Carson Palmer in this offense.
Benson with some running room. Cedric Benson down to the 35-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Marcus Bernard made the tackle after a pickup of 12.
Bill, I really like this approach by Cincinnati. I mean, they have a veteran quarterback that understands how to do this. It's a great tempo changer. It limits substitution by the defense, and it's going to make it difficult for Rob Ryan to dial up all those blitzes.
Palmer calling the play at the line of scrimmage on 1st down. And finally just gets rid of it. And once again, let's go back to JB in New York for an update.
Hey, Bill, thank goodness I didn't pull a hamstring on that false start from the studio, but take a look here as Sean Hill pays the price for that pick that he throws to Charles Woodson. Woodson returns at 48 yards to pay dirt. His 10th career interception return for a score, 3rd all-time, 28-17 Green Bay. Bill and Rich.
All right, JB, glad you're okay. And Woodson, of course, the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year. And we have another whistle and flags before the snap. Preliminary signal.
Encroachment. Defense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Derek Robinson.
This is why you don't win football games. It's the penalties. And Carson Palmer does an outstanding job with his changing up that cadence. He's got a great hard count. He's already got a couple false starts out of the Browns today.
Browns averaging 7 penalties a game through the first 3 weeks of the season. So 2nd and 5.
Well, they show their hand early. You see they try and bring pressure. As soon as they do that, Carson Palmer is going to change the play.
Play clock is down to 2, and they get the snap off. Palmer. Owens. T.O. Went up high to get it. Brought down at the 11-yard line by Elam.
It's an outstanding job by Carson Palmer. And this is what the experience gives you. He changes the play at the line of scrimmage, blocks him up, and takes a shot downfield to T.O. That's what experience gives you at the quarterback position. A quarterback that can diagnose the blitz, change the protection, block him up, and hurt him downfield.
That was good for 19 yards, and T.O. has moved past Isaac Bruce into second all-time in receiving yards. Palmer, pump fake, and sacked! From the blind side, Matt Roth. Roth had 4 sacks in the last 5 games last season, but didn't have any until that.
Well, they bring pressure again. You're going to see it right at the top of your screen. Carson Palmer comes out of there, and he takes the extra hits. They're one short. You see the back. He blocks the corner, and he leaves go Roth. That ball has to come out. The extra hitch cost Carson Palmer.
Second and 16. Back at the 17-yard line, Benson. He's had very little running room today. Fujita made the tackle.
Bill, the Bengals have really struggled in this part of the field. And they've had to come down here and settle for a lot of field goals. They've kicked more field goals down here than they've scored touchdowns. And a big reason why is usually in the drive they have a mistake. It's a false start, it's a penalty, it's a sack, and now you put yourself in these 3rd and long situations in this part of the field.
3rd and 14. They can get a first down if they can get it inside the 2. Palmer. They rush 3. Leonard, the fullback, down to the 7-yard line.
Well, the sack really hurt them there. And again, you see right here, they're just going to rush 3 now and drop in coverage. And now Carson has nowhere to throw it down the field. He has to check it to Leonard late. Doing a good job in Cleveland. Rob Ryan changing up the looks. It's pressure. They're bringing 8. They're bringing 8. Next thing you know, they're dropping 8 in coverage.
Nugent's last field goal try was blocked. This one from 25 yards. And good. So 3 points for the Bengals. And again, it's a 10-point game. 1:14 left in the third, 23-13. And Terrell Owens now second all-time behind Jerry Rice as he passed Isaac Bruce in both of those categories. 5th all-time in receptions and now 2nd in total receiving yards. Well, tonight on CBS, she's a wife, a mother, and a CEO. And when she goes undercover in her own company, it's an episode you'll never forget. Don't miss an all-new Undercover Boss tonight, only on CBS.
You think about 15,000 yards in your career. I mean, 1,000 yards in a season is pretty stellar. He's done it 15 times. I think that speaks volumes about his endurance and the fact he takes such great care of himself. Still able to bring it after all these years.
6 catches, 165 yards, and the long touchdown reception. 78 yards from Carson Palmer. Big day for T.O. The Bengals disappointed. They had to settle for a field goal there. 1:14 left in the third. Cribs standing back inside the 5, ready for the kickoff.
Giving it short up.
Yeah, this fielded at the 19, room up the sideline. And that time it may have backfired on them because they'll have good field position to start. 44-yard line. Let's take a look at these new weapons for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, last year they had a problem. They couldn't throw the ball down the field late in the season. It cost them in the playoffs. They go out and they make the trade they sign T.O. late, but they go out and draft these 2 young players, and I think they're going to be outstanding. Jermaine Gresham and Jordan Shipley, and you know that they're playing a lot of snaps as rookies, and they're making contributions early.
From the 44-yard line, Hillis, the middle. Such a throwback. The early days of the NFL, just tough guy, hard running inside, powerfully built.
You're exactly right, Bill. You mentioned that word throwback, and that's really what you think about when you look at him. I mean, he's just a big, strong, physical guy. There, what did Mike Zimmer tell us? The new Jim Brown, and that's really what Peyton Hillis looks like. He's carrying defenders with him down the field, finishing runs, running over safeties in the hole.
61 tough yards today, 20th carry of the day. Brought down after a pickup of 1. Chris Crocker closed in a hurry.
And if you're a defense, those are the kind of runs you want to see out of Peyton Hillis. Those perimeter runs where he's running east and west and not north and south.
That is going to be the final play of the third quarter. Marvin trying to get his guys pumped up. Fellas, we're only down by 10. The Browns looking for their first win of 2010. That's the end of the third quarter. One more quarter left to play. Cleveland 23, Cincinnati 13. Back after this message and a word from your local station. We're back in Cleveland, ready to start the fourth quarter. The last time these two teams played here in Cleveland, the Bengals won with only 4 seconds left in overtime. The longest game the Bengals have ever won, decided on a 31-yard field goal by Shane Graham. Browns have 3rd and 4 as we start the fourth. Here they come, an all-out blitz. The slant incomplete. Massaquoi couldn't bring it in, looking for a flag and won't get it. It'll bring up 4th and 4. Leon Hall with solid coverage.
Well, Mohamed Massaquoi has got to get his head around quicker, and that ball's got to come out. Seneca Wallace can't hold it. You see how quickly this comes out of his hands. Just seems like that ball gets in on Mohamed Massaquoi. You know you're going to get hit. You might as well catch it. Like he was surprised.
Hodges out to punt, standing at his own 36-yard line. Juan Cosby, the deep man for Cincinnati. Great punt. And into the end zone for a touchback. A 50-yard punt just underway in the fourth. Browns lead by 10.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The Browns are the first team in more than half a century to start the season 0-3 after having the lead in the fourth quarter in all 3 games. It's such a rarity in the NFL that the last time it happened was way back in 1954 to the Green Bay Packers.
I think there's a big difference. You think about winning, a big difference between expecting to win, expecting that to be the outcome, and hoping for that to be the outcome.
Palmer. Center of the field, caught by T.O. He's having a big day out near midfield.
And you see him right back to the no huddle. Get up and get lined up. It's worked for him the last drive, and you see Eric Wright. He's got his hands full once again with T.O. You cannot let him get off the line of scrimmage. He has to do a better job getting his hands on him and disrupting him. It was a problem for him last week against a bigger receiver like Anquan Bolden as well.
27 yards on the play.
This is where Carson can be so dangerous. He's just going to preview the front, get him in the best play possible. He loves to throw it.
Palmer, slant in and out of T.O.'s hands. Tried to run before he brought it in.
Boy, that's his guy today. T.O. has the hot hand. We haven't heard much from Chad, but boy, T.O. is doing a nice job. And I don't know if it's just a matchup they're looking for going against the young corner, Joe Hayden. That's one T.O. should catch.
7 receptions, 192 yards. Flag on the play. Trying to hit Jordan Shipley, and he might have been held by Eric Wright.
Holding. Defense. Number 21. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, if you're Eric Wright and you got torched last week against the Baltimore Ravens, Carson Palmer is going to find number 21. And all things being equal, I'm going to try and find Eric Wright and work inside, regardless of who the receiver is. I have to find out if Eric Wright is ready to play today, and he has answers for all our different looks.
Spotted into Cleveland territory, the Browns' 48-yard line. Palmer calling the play at the line of scrimmage once again. Benson Moves forward to the 45-yard line. Schafering made the stop, the defensive end, second year out of Linwood. Here they come with the muddle huddle once again. No substitutions for Cleveland. Benson alone in the backfield, 2nd and 7 from the 45. Benson will stutter step, ducks his shoulder and down close to the 41. Sean Rogers made the stop.
Again, Bill, the ability to call plays at the line of scrimmage, it makes it very difficult for Rob Ryan to make all those substitutions and to dial up all those corner blitzes that he's been rolling up on Carson so much here today. He's getting a 3rd down situation. They huddle up, make sure they get the right personnel on the field for the offense.
Now trying to get this defense going. 3rd and 3. Cleveland by 10. Palmer got rid of it just in time. And again, T.O. Over 200 yards now. Joe Hayden finally brought him down. That was good for 17.
It's an excellent job there by Carson Palmer. He knows he's going to get hit. He buys time so that T.O. can cross the face of the defender.
Right back to work before the Browns could get settled. Center of the field. This time it's the rookie.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric Wright is really struggling. I don't know if it's a technique thing. He's just allowing these receivers to cross his face and to get into the middle of the field. That's where you can't allow him in that 2-deep coverage. You have to funnel him and force him to go outside.
Shipley comes out. Reggie Kelly, the tight end, checks in.
It isn't one receiver. We've seen Chad get up on him. T.O. has worked him. Now they have the rookie, Jordan Shipley, who's having a field day right now with Eric Wright.
1st and goal for Cincinnati. Ball inside the 5. Lawson tried to hit Chad Ochocinco, and Wright had good coverage that time.
Well, they're going to keep challenging him. They're going to just keep finding out about Eric Wright. You almost feel for a guy like this, but Carson Palmer, when he smells blood, he's just going to keep going.
.76 yards so far on the drive. Highlighted by some big throws to T.O. Offset eye, another heavy on the left side. That's where they go with Benson. Can't get to the edge, he'll lose a couple. Elam led the charge.
You know, Bill, I go back to that 1st down throw from Carson to Chad. I don't know if that was a huddle call or not. But, you know, you take a shot, you better hit it, because now you're stuck with the situation now where you got 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Just can't keep getting down in this part of the field and settling for field goals.
4 of 9 in 3rd down conversions for Cincinnati. 3rd and goal. Shipley in motion. Rush 3, Palmer. Shipley, we're going to have a flag. Ward, the rookie.
That was ugly. Jordan Shipley never felt T.J. Ward. And Bill, he missed a lot of practice time this week with the shoulder. He took a big hit going across the middle against Carolina.
Foul. Defense, number 43. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Look at Carson there. He's not happy about that at all. You're going to see Jordan Shipley. He's working right in the middle there. He's got Eric Wright. Again, he's got the safety, and right there at the end, there's no reason for that. Now, I know T.J. Ward's a young player, but there's absolutely no reason to lunge at a guy's head like that with your shoulder. That's going to cost him some money.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new action comedy Red, in theaters October 15th. Ford, drive one. And by Allstate, Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
A few moments ago, it was great to see Jordan Shipley leave the field on his own. Costly penalty, though, T.J. Ward, and that has been a problem for these Cleveland Browns. First and goal, shovel pass, Leonard, touchdown. Didn't take long for Cincinnati to take advantage of the penalty.
Well, they had the perfect play called there with that front. Brian Leonard was offset, and Carson does a nice job moving to his right, drawing the rush. It's a safe call in this part of the field. We saw them work on this in practice last week. Brian Leonard, of course, is a big back as well.
Mike Nugent wanted to make it a three-point game. Boots it through, 10:44 left to play. 23-20. Cleveland. Carson Palmer able to take advantage of the unsportsmanlike conduct personal foul penalty on T.J. Ward. Shovel pass to Leonard for the touchdown. We've got a good one going. 10:44 remaining. 23-20 Cleveland. Krebs at the 5. Keeps his feet. Gets it out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Ball is fumbled out of bounds. Well, tonight on 60 Minutes, Bill and Melinda Gates are the wealthiest couple in the world, and they're giving their fortune away. Find out where the money is going tonight on 60 Minutes, only on CBS, America's most watched network. So the Browns take over, protecting a 3-point lead from their own 33-yard line. Seneca Wallace has played well, 18 of 27. 184 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Wallace tried to hit the out route intended for Watson, incomplete. And Rich, this has been what we've come to expect in the AFC North, a very physical game.
Well, we knew that coming in. When both these teams get together, it usually is physical. Players flying around, making big plays. You have big physical running backs like Peyton Hillis, and of course a shot like this in the back of the end zone. You know, not something that T.J. Ward probably wanted to do. You just react in those situations, but you can't do that. You have to take care of each other.
Hillis cuts it back inside. Out to the 35-yard line. And Jordan Shipley, we get word, has a concussion, and he is not coming back today.
Yeah, I talk about taking care of each other. It's a physical game. The league wants it. The players, the coaches want it. But when you have a receiver that's coming across the back of the end zone, his eyes are in the backfield. He's a defenseless receiver. I mean, watch his head hit the ground. I mean, you could break a guy's neck. I know. I broke my neck playing this game, and it is not fun. Ended my career in 2004.
3rd and 7, and the Browns are going to take a timeout. 9:48 left to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Subway has you covered with $5 footlong subs morning, noon, and night. Subway, eat fresh. And by Sony.
We're back, and the Bengals defense trying to stiffen here on 3rd down. 9:48 left to play. The Browns lead by 3. Or the motion man, the tight end at the top of your screen. Wallace rolling to his right. And incomplete. Seneca Wallace has missed his last 4 passes. That'll bring up 4th and 8.
Well, 3rd down's a tough down. They spend a lot of time, these defensive coordinators, in their offices during the course of the week, putting different packages. Right there, we saw a combination coverage, a cut coverage from Cincinnati on the outside.
Adam Jones standing back at his own 20-yard line. with the punt. And brought down immediately. Joe Hayden, the rookie, was down the field quickly after a 47-yard punt. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 4. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. So they spot it at the Cincinnati 14-yard line.
Now I'm curious to see what Cincinnati does offensively, Bill, whether they continue to stay in their no-huddle package, which has worked really well for them here in the fourth quarter.
Just joining us, Terrell Owens, 8 catches for 209 yards, including a 78-yard touchdown pass from Carson Palmer. Carson has gone over 300 yards, 20 of 30 for 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bengals trail by 3. Palmer, throwback. Running room for Ocho Cinco and out of bounds.
You talk about being fortunate. The Bengals actually have a screen pass here to Chad Ochocinco up top. They're going to bring the safety, and then watch, they get the lineman out in front for the screen. I mean, this is just perfect timing. They bring a corner blitz, and look at that offensive line get out in front of that screen.
Good for a first down. Out to the Cincinnati 28-yard line. Benson with a nice hole on the left side. To the 40. Marcus Bernard, the undrafted linebacker a couple of years ago out of Jackson State, who was the Browns' best pass rusher, made the stop.
Well, they love to run that ball on that left side of that offensive line behind Andrew Whitworth and Nate Livings. We get good movement, good push, and they do a good job coming off on the second level for those linebackers. That's on Carson.
Movement, and everybody's pointing at everyone else.
You see Carson start fading away from the center.
False start. Offense, number 9. 5-yard penalty.
That's who they call it on.
Still first down.
You know, they ask Carson to do a lot, and he handles the protections. He gets in and out of plays, and sometimes it can be too much. And I've been in that situation before where you're thinking about 3 or 4 different things, and you actually forget what the snap count is.
Moving back to the 35-yard line. 1st and 15 for Cincinnati. Short drop. Out route. It's caught by Caldwell. Out to the 39-yard line. Eric Wright made the stop.
Now we see Andre Caldwell in the place of Jordan Shipley in the slot for Cincinnati.
Caldwell in his 3rd year out of Florida, 3rd-round pick in 2008. Had only 1 catch for 8 yards coming in. Most of the receptions for the slot receiver had gone to Shipley. 2nd and 8. Palmer, flush from the pocket, gets rid of it, and again T.O.
You know, we don't think of Carson Palmer like a Seneca Wallace, but Carson can move around a little bit too now and create some plays with his legs. Does a nice job. He's done a nice job a number of times today getting outside the pocket, letting these receivers work down the field and making a great throw on the move.
Big 3rd down upcoming, 7.5 minutes left to play. 3rd and 5 for Cincinnati.
Well, big 3rd down here. Playing a lot of this 2-man coverage with 2 high safeties.
Palmer, and that's caught. Guess who? Into Cleveland territory, and that will move the chains for Cincinnati.
Well, this is good to see. T.O.'s having fun. You see that smile on his face? They're doing a great job. Carson's doing a great job moving around a little bit, avoiding the rush, and giving T.O. extra time to work downfield.
And they're up in a hurry. 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 48-yard line. Power I formation. Benson the deep back. give it to Benson, right side with some running room. Cedric Benson down inside the 40, close to the 37-yard line. Fujita made the tackle.
Well, this is what they want to see. Get Cedric Benson going here late. I mean, he hits the hole quick. We talk about being a one-cut back. Another back that runs with power.
Benson 15 carries, 61 yards. Palmer will throw. And Caldwell couldn't bring it in.
Boy, I tell you, safety Mike Adams was right there to make a play. I don't know that Carson Palmer ever felt Mike Adams.
Three-point game. Just over 6 minutes remaining. Cincinnati on the move.
So you give you some different looks. You're going to see Mike Adams. He's right up here in the box. So you're playing with 6 defensive backs, including Mike Adams, up in there in the front.
And we have a whistle, so let's check with our officiating crew.
When you think about Rex Ryan up in New York, you know that Rex and Rob talk during the week. You see a lot of unorthodox looks from Rob Ryan as well when you look at this defense on tape. Give you a couple things that you haven't seen and prepared for during the course of the week.
Not sure what they're trying to sort out.
The discussion on the field is that it's second down. The box never moved. It's second down and 10.
Second down and 10. Bengals have had some big plays already here in the second half. They've had 9 plays of over 10 yards. Only 1 for the Cleveland Browns.
And Bill, that was a problem coming into this game. You know, the explosive plays just weren't showing up with this Cincinnati offense. They've got a number of big plays to TO that have really helped in the second half.
So second and 10. Back comes Cincinnati. Palmer making sure everyone has their assignment. Back in the shotgun. Since Gresham, rookie in motion. Center of the field. Caldwell. They're going to need him to step up because Shipley had been such a weapon. And he is out now with a concussion.
Carson's doing a great job. You see him work his first, second receiver. He's doing a good job going through the progressions. We've seen a couple times today where he's worked all the way back to that third and fourth option. That comes with experience in the system.
Taking a little extra time now inside of 5.5 minutes to play. From the 31-yard line. Third and a short 4. Here they come on the blitz. Palmer rolling right. Incomplete. Tried to hit Chad Ochocinco on the sideline, and Hayden, the rookie, had good coverage.
Yeah, they're going to get Chad for pushing. We got offensive pass interference here on Chad Ochocinco. Boy, that's big, Bill, in this part of the field. You think about
pass interference, offense, number 85, 10-yard penalty, replay, third down.
And just keep an eye on Chad right here as he goes up the field. Watch him on the boundary right here. See, he's just
yeah, they'll call
that's
that.
An old veteran. That's the old veteran trick. But the problem is, look where the ball is now. You know, now if you can't get something here, you've really put your team out of field goal range. That was a big penalty there by Chad.
Although Nugent, again, does have a 54-yarder already this season. 3rd and 14 for the Bengals. Palmer didn't see the pressure.
Oh, now you got a punt.
Matt Ruff, his 2nd sack of the day.
And that's why that was a huge penalty for Cincinnati. You can see right here, Matt Roth, he does a nice job. He just keeps coming. He just never gives up on this play, and Carson never feels him on the backside. It's a coverage sack by Cleveland.
And would look like a sure opportunity, at least, to try for a field goal. Now they've got a punt. Huber. Gibbs makes the fair catch at the 10-yard line. 4:41 left to go. The Browns by 3. We're coming up on the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Well, we refer to this as the 4-minute offense. Cleveland's ability to take the ball now here and do something with it and keep Cincinnati off the field. And we talked about the theme this week at the facility in Cleveland was finish in the fourth quarter, something they've not been able to do here the first 3 weeks.
Hillis is the deep back. They're going to throw on first down. Incomplete. And that was not the way they wanted things to start out. Murmur goes through the crowd. Clock stops. 4:36 left to play.
Well, I like the call. You think about a tendency breaker, getting out of there, giving yourself some breathing room, but also knowing that you run the ball a little bit here in the second half on first down. Maybe take a shot. Just hoping for a completion.
2nd and 10. Now they keep it on the ground with Hillis. Penalty flag. Hillis stacked up at the line of scrimmage by Dhani Jones. Looks like a hold on Cleveland. And now they're saying, pointing towards Cincinnati. Let's see.
Holding. Defense. Number 90. 5-yard penalty. Automatic.
Unusual. Pat Sims, the backup defensive tackle.
Well, sometimes when you're getting double teamed, a lineman will try and grab. You're going to see Pat Sims right here. And he's going to try and tie up. So he's going to try and tie up the guard, hold him so that the linebacker can get up in there and make that tackle. Keith Rivers. I don't know if that was a very good call in that situation. It looks like he was trying to play some football.
So 1st and 10 after the penalty. Hillis. There's some room on that right side. Out to the 21-yard line. Again, Dhani Jones made the tackle.
And you got a good look there at the fullback, Lawrence Vickers. I think a big reason why they're able to run the ball so effectively the last couple of years has been because of Lawrence Vickers. I think he's one of the game's best. You know, he loves doing the dirty work, the thankless job up there inside. He can't get enough. You need a big-time fullback if you're going to run the ball like Cleveland. There he is. He's a thick guy.
2nd and 6. Vickers in his 5th year out of Colorado, a 6th-round pick back in 2006. Power I formation. They give it to Hillis. Left side. Going to be about a yard shy of the first down. Running behind Eric Steinbach, the former Bengal, and Joe Thomas, the 3-time Pro Bowler.
They haven't scored a lot of points in the second half this year, Cleveland, and that's been one of the big problems, Bill. Just 7 points in the second half through 3 games. Only the production on the third down hasn't been much better either here.
3rd and 1. Trying to keep it away from Carson Palmer and that Bengal offense. Hillis. And he's got it.
You see that offensive line for Cleveland are fired up. Look at Peyton Hillis. Look at
now they're going to measure.
Well, listen, this is important. They're doing everything they can to get their first win. They're still learning what it takes to win, to be successful in this business. You know, they've lost 10 or more games in 6 of the last 7 seasons, and I think losing is a habit just like winning. The big problem coming into this game was their ability to finish late in games. Can they put a team away like Cincinnati here in the fourth quarter?
First set of downs. Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator's fired up.
Well, he's egging on that offensive line. This is where that group up front can take over the football game.
Carson Palmer wants to get another chance.
And that's what they don't want to see, that guy back on the field.
Bengals take a timeout. They'll have one remaining. Carson Palmer's already had a big day, 25 and 36, 369 yards, a couple of touchdowns. And today on the CBS Sports Spectacular, top bull riders battle the world's toughest bulls at the PBR Bill Ford Tough Showdown. That's later today here on CBS.
Talk about some tough guys. Those guys that get on those bulls.
And I
don't know if they're
They used to not wear helmets. Now a lot of them wear helmets, so that's good. Grew up in Texas, so a lot of respect for those guys.
Carson Palmer brought this football team back a lot last year, late in games. About the cardiac cats. He is as good as there is in 2-minute situations. You see the numbers there for both quarterbacks. Carson Palmer, 369 yards through the air today.
Cleveland looking to take some time off the clock, and it's Hillis. Leans forward close to the 30-yard line.
Now, if I'm Seneca Wallace, I'm reminding Peyton Hillis to take care of the football. You remember that first game we did of the season down in Tampa where Peyton put it on the ground twice. They actually took him out of that game. Talking to Brian Dable, they said he just lost confidence in his ability to hold on to it.
We saw him in practice, and he was actually off by himself doing some drills, just trying to hold on to the football, practice how to cradle the football. 26 carries, 78 yards. He's been a workhorse today.
I've been so impressed. I mean, the fact that he's 6'2" and 250 pounds. I just think he catches the ball very easily out of the backfield. He doesn't labor to do it. He's a good little route runner. He can block. I think this is a great add. You think about that trade for Brady Quinn.
Bengals spent their last time out. 2nd and 7, 2:46 left. Hillis.
Oh, there he goes.
To the outside. First down and more. Chris Crocker saved a touchdown.
You know, what you would have liked to see him do there at the end of that run is stay on the field. Well, they just do a nice job. They're just going to bounce it outside. Good job by the guard and the fullback. Now right here, work back inside towards the safety and stay on the field. Oh, there he did. And the ball came down, so they rolled the clock.
24 yards on the play.
Boy, over 100 yards again today.
And Cincinnati can't stop it. So we've reached the 2-minute warning. Fresh set of downs for the Cleveland Browns. They lead by 3. 3-point margin for the Browns. And remember this, Rich?
Yeah, big play by Scott Fujita.
Blocked field goal, the only missed field goal this year by Nugent. Blocked by the man who came in here with a Super Bowl ring.
And not only that, but the Browns were able to drive down, and Phil Dawson kicked the field goal right before the half. So that was a 6-point swing for Cleveland. This game should be over.
You're just going to have to take a knee and let it run out.
I think that's it, yep.
Yeah, this is an old school kind of win. The last Browns pass completion came at the 12-17 mark of the 3rd quarter.
And with 2 minutes to go and 0 timeouts, they ought to be able to kneel it and end this one.
And we still haven't seen Eric smile.
Well, still a lot of work to be done here in Cleveland, but I think this is a step in the right direction. They've worked hard all week. They've been close, as you mentioned, Bill. They've had the lead in the 4th quarter in 3 games. They haven't been able to get it done. Big win for this ball club.
They will finally be able to close it out against Seneca Wallace taking a knee. Bengals win streak in the AFC North snapped at 8 games. And the Browns will break a 3-game losing streak here in the Battle of Ohio.
Yeah, there's a smile.
There you go.
You think about all the time and effort and energy that goes into a work week, putting the game plan together, and you get one crack at it. And so you either get a passing grade or a failing grade. There's no in between.
Bengals can't stop the clock. They clock down to 2, and they snap it, and that will be it. Cleveland Browns with their first victory of 2010. They had come so close in the first 3 games. Finally got it done today. Browns record 1-3. And for Cincinnati, they're all even at 2-2. Hard-fought contest here in Cleveland, and it goes to the Cleveland Browns. Our final score, Cleveland 23, Cincinnati 20. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show for Rich Gannon. This is Bill McAtee. So long from Cleveland. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.